final broadcast. The neon glow of the on-air sign flickered softly, casting an eerie red hue across the cramped radio studio. Garrett Hayes, the host of Midnight Confessions, leaned back in his chair, his voice a soothing baritone that flowed through the dimly lit room like smoke. "Welcome back, Night Owls," he said, adjusting his headphones. "The lines are open, and I'm here to listen. Tell me your secrets, your fears, or whatever keeps you awake. No judgment, just you and me." The show thrived on the strange and the somber, calls from insomniacs, heartbroken lovers, and the occasional conspiracy theorist. But this night felt different. The air in the studio was heavier, as though the darkness outside had seeped in through the cracks. The phone line blinked, a steady pulse like a heartbeat. Garrett pressed the button. "You're live on Midnight Confessions. What's on your mind?" Silence, then a deep, trembling breath. "I did something terrible." Garrett straightened in his chair. "Go on," he said, his voice gentle but curious. "You're in a safe space here." "I killed someone," the voice whispered, raw with emotion. Garrett's breath caught. He had heard plenty of dramatic stories, but this was different. The voice was too shaky, too real. "Why don't you tell me what happened?" Garrett asked, keeping his tone neutral. The caller exhaled shakily. "I didn't mean for it to go that far. We argued. It got out of hand." A chill ran down Garrett's spine. "Who did you hurt?" he pressed, leaning closer to the microphone. But before the caller could answer, the line went dead. Garrett stared at the blinking light, willing it to come back. Nothing. Static hummed faintly in his headphones. His pulse quickened. The caller's voice echoed in his mind, the kind of raw emotion that couldn't be faked. He tried to shake it off. Maybe it was a prank. He had dealt with his share of those. But then the studio lights flickered. Garrett glanced around. The room felt smaller, the shadows deeper. He reached for his coffee, his hand trembling slightly. "Strange night," he murmured to himself, forcing a laugh. He pressed the button to cue the next caller. "You're on Midnight Confessions. What's keeping you up? Why didn't you ask the right questions?" The voice was calm, chillingly calm. It was the same caller. Garrett's stomach dropped. "You're back. What do you mean?" "You didn't ask me where I am." The words hit Garrett like a slap. His eyes darted to the studio door. It was locked, as always. The blinds on the small window were drawn. He glanced at the security monitor. Nothing but an empty hallway. "Where are you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Silence stretched on the line, a suffocating void. Then softly, "Closer than you think." Garrett's throat tightened. He hit the mute button and fumbled for his phone, dialing the station's night security. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. The lights flickered again, and this time, the studio went dark. Only the glow of his computer monitor illuminated the room. Garrett's reflection stared back at him, wide-eyed, the headphones around his neck like a noose. A faint creak echoed through the studio. His gaze snapped to the door. It was still closed. Locked. He was sure of it. But then he noticed something on the security monitor. A figure just outside the frame, shifting in and out of the camera's blind spot. The phone line buzzed to life again. Garrett's hand hovered over the button. He didn't want to answer, but he had to. "You're live," he stammered. The voice was different now, calm, composed, and utterly chilling. "Did you figure it out yet, Garrett?" "Figure what out?" he whispered. "Why I chose you." The words sank in like ice. Garrett's mind raced. The voice was familiar, hauntingly so. Then it hit him. The caller wasn't some stranger. It was someone he knew, someone who had been in his life, someone he had wronged. And as the door to the studio creaked open, Garrett realized the truth too late. The killer hadn't just chosen him for a call. They had come to deliver their confession face to face. The final broadcast ended with a scream and static.